security infrastructure. Now, had it been public infrastructure, then definitely we could have gone for the healthcare and education. But it is public key infrastructure which has been defined by even Niti Aayog as digital security infrastructure. So 46 का answer होगा A, not B, C. All right. So this is what actually would be the public key infrastructure for all of you. Then you can see the question number. Next question is in fact question number 48. I mean, we'll discuss all these things in one go. That is science, tech, and environment. We'll discuss economy issues there. Question number 49, you can see. Then I'll come to the science tech once more. Now, question number 49, you can see here, if another global financial crisis happens in the near future, which of the following actions or policies are most likely to give some immunity to India? Now, see, I mean, this is a technical question. Why? First of all, you have to understand that how we can save ourselves from any financial crisis. So as much as we will link with the global economy, we'll be having more and more impact. So least we are linked, least will be the impact. That is a basic fundamental aspect. So in that way, you have to understand that if we are not depending upon the short-term foreign borrowing, of course, that will keep ourselves away from the fundamental global financial crisis. Opening of more banks, foreign banks, of course, it will jeopardize our status. It will put us in danger if we open more foreign banks and then there is a financial crisis in a global world. Then maintaining full capital account convertibility, again, it will endanger. Why and how it will endanger? Because once you allow the inflow and outflow of capital under the full capital account convertibility, then of course, if there is a global financial crisis, there would be also a withdrawal of the foreign investment from the economy. And then at that point of time, we will be having a tough time in terms of paying back them in their own currency. So that is what actually is a fundamental problem of full capital account convertibility. Fine. Therefore, option 2 and 3 are not at all advisable. And 1 is here, of course, correct. This we have to not depend upon short-term foreign borrowing. So A is the answer here in question number 49. Question number 50 is equally very interesting question. Let's see. If you withdraw rupees 1 lakh in cash from your demand deposit account at your bank, the immediate effect on aggregate money supply in economy will be. Now see, how do you calculate aggregate money supply? That's very important to understand. I mean, anyhow, in next class we have to discuss about all these things. Let me tell you one thing at the outset. We calculate the money supply on the basis of the formula that is used by the RBI. That is M1, M2, M3, M4. Now, in the M1 formula, it says that in M1 formula, we keep the cash with the public, the amount in the banks of the public, that is demand deposits, and also the other form of deposits that is with the RBI, which can easily be withdrawn. That is also a part of M1 formula. In M1 formula, M1 money is also called as narrow money. Now, why narrow money? Because it can easily be withdrawn, it can easily be spent in the market. So going by that logic of M1 formula, it says about 3 things. Money with the public, money with the bank, and money with the RBI, which can be easily withdrawn by the banks. These 3 consist of M1. Now, having understood what is the concept of M1, that is aggregate money supply, apply this sense. If you withdraw 1 lakh in cash from your demand deposit account at your bank, the immediate effect on aggregate money supply would be what? That you will be having more cash in your pocket. If you have more cash in your pocket, definitely that money would be in the market, definitely get increased. So there will be an increase of money in the market for sure. So by more than rupees 1 lakh, that would be at that particular point of time, there would be a great supply of money supply would be found to be increased in the market. So under the M1 formula, if 1 lakh is more there with the public at large, then definitely in this new case, 1 lakh plus the money that is with the bank, plus the money with the RBI, they all will have to be calculated together. So that is the formula, and therefore, for the moment you withdraw 1 lakh, it will increase it by more than 1 lakh as the aggregate money supply in the economy. That is the answer number 3, C. Fine, that is the point. Fine. So you have to go it by the logic of M1, M2, M3, M4 formula. Okay. So that is the point here. We'll discuss it when we'll discuss the concept of monetary policy. Then you have question number 51, that is with reference to FDI in India, which of the following is considered its major characteristic? Now see, question number 51 is another very important question, because FDI is what? It is basically a non-debt capital. Therefore, every country wants to have more and more number of FDI, more and more amount of FDI and FII, because it is a largely non-debt creating capital flow. Therefore, it is always good for any economy. Therefore, FDI in India is, the answer is B, that is, it is largely non-debt creating capital flow in your economy. So B is the correct answer over here. Question number 52. The question 52 is equally a very interesting question, because there are 4 statements which are all very much, you can say, confusing. But again, the second statement is incorrect in this particular 52 number question. It is given there in your economic survey also. This question has been taken from economic survey. All right. So in the economic survey, when you read this question, what you will find that the Indian merchandise exports are less than its merchandise imports. That's correct, in fact. Okay. So हम export कम करते हैं, हम import ज़्यादा करते हैं finished goods का. India's import of iron, steel, chemical, fertilizer, machinery have decreased recent years. It's not correct. It is actually has been increasing. All right. India's exports of services are more than its import of services. That's correct. Fine. Then you have India suffers from an overall trade current account deficit. That is also correct. So 1, 3, and 4 are correct here. So here answer is D. 1, 3, 4. 53 number questions. It is in the context of West Texas Intermediate. It was in news. Now, when it was in news, see, it was in news in the context of the crude oil price. So crude oil price had actually gone down, yet the price of petroleum in the Indian market had not gone down. The government rather increased the taxes on that and tried to collect as much as tax the government could collect through the of course sale of the petroleum products in India. So at that point of time, only the West Texas Intermediate, it's an this is a particular term that is used in USA to actually denote about the pricing fluctuations. So in that way, for crude oil it is used. The answer is A, that is crude oil. Then question number 54. 54 is equally a good question. That is in the context of non-financial debt includes which of the following? So housing loans owed by households, of course, is non-financial debt because you don't get money directly. Amounts outstanding on credit cards is also a non-financial debt, in fact. Then treasury bills also a non-financial debt. So here answer is 1, 2, 3. Fine. Financial debt is that you take directly money from the, of course, the institution which offers you credit. But here in this case, you don't take money directly. You take money for certain purpose. That is actually the point. Then your IAS safeguards. So of course, in IAS safeguards, you have to see that some, in fact, B is the answer over here. Why B would be the answer? Because some use imported uranium and others use domestic supplies. That's the reason why some of the nuclear reactors of India are under IAS safeguards. It is also there in my book, which I've written in the context of international relations. Okay. So I can show you that. Now, this is the book in which I've written about this particular issue very clearly. So IAS safeguards, why it is followed? It is followed because of these all fundamental factors only. So it is very clearly mentioned in the chapter of Indo-US agreement. In the context of that, what we have to understand that this statement is correct, that some use imported uranium, therefore IAS safeguards are essential. But in those where we do not use imported uranium, we won't allow the IEA safeguards or the IEA inspectors to inspect our nuclear reactors. That is the point. Fine. TRIMS, another very favorite question of UPSC. Every time they will ask you TRIMS. ये ऐसा क्वेश्चन है जो पूछेंगे WTO से रिलेटेड ये सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन है, सबसे बड़ा इशू है यूपीएससी के लिए हमेशा. ठीक है. So see, trade related investment measures. It is in the context of WTO. It is primarily in the context of investment measures. So here answer is 2 only. So it is 1 and 3 are incorrect. It is in the context of investment measures. All right, and it is only in the context of that you have to give equal treatment to everyone in terms of allowing them to invest in your economy. That's basically the principle of TRIMS, which is part of WTO. Okay. Then you have the next question, that is question number 57. That is, if the RBI decides to adopt an expansionist monetary policy. Now, say expansionist monetary policy, we have to discuss in our next class only, in fact. So, under expansionist monetary policy, what RBI is supposed to do? RBI will be allowing the flow of money at the cheapest rate in the market. So, क्रेडिट सस्ता करेगा RBI, यही होता है एक्सपेंशनरी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी के तहत, ठीक है। अभी समझना क्या है कि इसमें से कौन सा चीज करेगा RBI या कौन सा चीज नहीं करेगा RBI अगर उसको एक्सपेंशनरी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी अडॉप्ट करना है तो देखिए वो सारा कुछ कट करेगा, इंक्रीज कुछ भी नहीं करेगा। जहां इंक्रीज करेगा वही गलत होगा आंसर इसमें। So see, cutting and optimizing SLR. So of course RBI will do it. तो ये होगा तभी एक्सपेंशनरी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी हो पाएगा। कटिंग द बैंक रेट एंड रेपो रेट, ऑफ कोर्स ये किया जाएगा तभी एक्सपेंशनरी रेट हो पाएगा। इंक्रीज द MSF, नहीं, ये होगा तो एक्सपेंशनरी नहीं होगा, तब तो रिस्ट्रिक्टिव हो जाएगा, क्योंकि MSF का बढ़ने का मतलब हो जाएगा कि मार्केट में लोन महंगा हो गया, तो महंगा हो जाएगा तो एक्सपेंशनरी मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी नहीं होगा, वो उसको कहेंगे रिस्ट्रिक्टिव मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी। दैट इज द पॉइंट, ठीक है। तो आंसर होगा यहाँ पे बी, ठीक। Then with reference to the Indian economy with 1991 economic liberalization, consider the following statements. Now see, this is another very important question. However, it is an equally debatable question. Why? Because there are two set of opinions coming on this issue. One is that, of course, first, second is absolutely incorrect. So there's no point of discussing first and two options over here. But there is some point to discuss option number 3 and 4 over here. Because answer would be either B or C. Now the point is, what is third and fourth option? Say third option is, in rural areas, the growth in non-farm economy increased. That is correct. That is correct, because due to the economic liberalization, the non-farm economic activity in rural area had increased because of the need of raw material supply to the big industries. तो वहां पे ये बढ़ा, उसमें कोई शक की बात नहीं है, सही बात है। लेकिन fourth statement is the growth rate in rural employment decreased. Now this is something which is not fully substantiated right now. So therefore the answer most likely is going to be C. That is 3 only. All right. Because growth rate in rural employment decreased, of course it is not like that. Because you need to understand, when the growth in non-farm economic activity will increase, then how come the rural employment decrease? तो increase होगा ना, अगर ग्रोथ हुआ नॉन फार्म इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी में, तो रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी तो इंक्रीज किया होगा ना। क्योंकि अगर मान लीजिए आपने आर्टिजन्स को हायर किया, आपने क्राफ्ट्समैन को हायर किया, आपने बहुत सारे वर्कर्स को हायर किया बहुत सारे कामों में लगाने के लिए, उनसे रॉ मटेरियल मंगवाने के लिए, कोई कॉटन पहुंचा रहा है, कोई सामान बना रहा है, कोई पॉट बना के दे रहा है आपको, कोई थैला बना के आपको दे रहा है। So of course in that way you must have also registered a hike in the rural employment growth rate. So by that logic, fourth is not at all a correct option in that way. Fine.
बट सर रूरल एरिया से बहुत सारे लोग पहले तो अर्बन एरिया में नहीं आते थे, अभी बहुत सारे लोग अर्बन एरिया में आते हैं काम करने के लिए, क्योंकि रूरल एरिया में उनको बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलता। तो उस हिसाब से अगर देखें तो
नहीं, ठीक है, वो वही है कि उसमें वही आपको कंजक्चर लगाना पड़ेगा कि वो हिसाब से आप देखें तो उसमें फिर रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट जो है डिक्रीज किया, ये हम मान सकते हैं। लेकिन कहने का मतलब ये है कि ग्रोथ रेट इन रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट डिक्रीज कंप्लीटली, इट इज अगेन नॉट गोइंग टू बी वेरी मच understandable, because what you have to understand that anyhow the rural employment overall in India increased due to the LPG policy. And when you say employment overall increasing due to the LPG policy, does not mean the employment only in urban area increased. It also had been seen in the case of villages. Even the villages also found some sort of employment, but not in the context of, or in the consonance of, the kind of demand of employment in the village area. That is actually the point. Therefore the statement is to be taken with a pinch of salt. We can't actually accept it completely. That is the point here. So either the answer could be B or C, but most tentatively it should be C. All right. But if you have gone for B, probably you might also be correct. But that is what actually we have to again analyze it with some actual information that is from the government of India. So question number 59. Now say 59 is again a very interesting question, because it is in the context of cooperative credit society. So the first statement is actually incorrect, because anyhow the credit in the villages are not given by the cooperative banks more than the commercial banks, because commercial banks in India is still the biggest lender in the villages even till today. So in that way, first statement is incorrect. Second statement is correct because of course the district level of cooperative bank, they provide the financial assistance also to the village level of cooperative societies, and that's the reason why primary agriculture credit societies, they receive funds also from the district level. So B is correct. So answer is only B. That is 2 is correct. So answer is only B in fact. Then you have cyber insurance. Again, we'll take up this issue while discussing the science tech in entirety. Then question number 61. See, question number 61 is completely on the issue of agriculture. Now, what is public investment in agriculture? See, this is another very interesting question for all of you, because public investment in agriculture could be seen only in the context of some real assets to be created. So computerization of primary agricultural credit societies, of course, it is a public investment because you are going to create a real asset for the villages at large. Then option number third, that is social capital development. Of course, that is also public investment, because if you provide training, health, information, let's say education, definitely it is going to build up the social capital. So in that way, it is public investment. Then again, you go for the, let's say, waiver of agricultural loans. Of course, it's not public investment. Then 6, that is setting up cold storage. Of course, public investment, because it is going to create some tangible assets. So what do you mean by public investment? Let us understand that itself. Public investment are those investment which create some tangible assets for the society. Anything that does not create any tangible assets directly will not be called as public investment. It's called as public wastage of money. For example, MSP, it's a public wastage of money, because here you are offering free of cost money to the farmers, and then you're procuring certain goods out of that. So here the farmers are not using it for the any, let's say, particular purpose of for the development of the agriculture. So had this money been invested on infrastructure, that could have been called as public investment. That is the point. Fine. So here the answer is 2, 3, and 6. C. It's a very interesting question, but still very, of course, conceptual also in that way. Question number 62. Importance of term interest coverage ratio of a firm in India. Now, this is very clearly mentioned in your economic survey of 1718. In economic survey of 1718, ICR concept has been discussed very clearly. ठीक है, तो उसमें बहुत अच्छे से इसको एक्सप्लेन किया हुआ है सर्वे में. तो ICR होता क्या है? ICR it actually helps you in understanding about one's ability to take loan and to pay back loan at a proper time. So ICR is used by the banking institutions to actually analyze whether a particular borrower is eligible or is fit enough to be offered loan or not. That is the concept of ICR. So interest coverage ratio of a firm in India is determining, or rather it signifies the importance of understanding the present risk of a firm. That is correct. Helps in evaluating the emerging risk of a firm. That is also correct. But the higher a borrowing firm's level of interest coverage ratio, the worse is its ability to service its debt. No, it's not correct. It is just vice versa. The lower the borrowing firm's level of ICR, the worse is its ability to service its debt. So ICR simply means if it is less than 1, then it means that particular firm has a poor credibility to pay back your loan amount. That is the point. All right. So here in that way, it should have been lower, not higher. So lower a borrowing firm's level of ICR, the worse is its ability to service its debt. That is correct. Higher का मतलब अच्छा हो गया. तो इसलिए third is incorrect. ठीक है. तो आंसर होगा यहाँ 1 and 2. A. Fine. Then you have question number 63. That is policies were affecting price of rice in India in the recent past. Of course, the answer is here 1, 3, and 4. Now, 1, 3, and 4. Why? Because you can see in some of the answers I have found, even government trading has also been taken up as a price rise in the price of rice in India. Now, see, government does not trade now. I mean, government trading used to happen before 1991. Government trading even today happens only by 2 institutions, MMTC and STC. आज के डेट में सरकार जो है ट्रेडिंग करती है सिर्फ अपने 2 PSUs के द्वारा. एक का नाम है मेटल्स एंड मिनरल्स ट्रेडिंग कॉर्पोरेशन, एक का नाम है स्टेट ट्रेडिंग कॉर्पोरेशंस. अब जो मेटल्स मिनरल ट्रेडिंग कॉर्पोरेशन है और स्टेट ट्रेडिंग कॉर्पोरेशंस है, वो राइस में अब डील नहीं करती है. राइस हमारे यहाँ पर्याप्त होता है और जो भी इंपोर्ट भी होता है वो फ्री है, सरकार उसमें अब रोल नहीं प्ले करती है। सरकार आज की डेट में रोल प्ले करती है, गवर्नमेंट ट्रेडिंग करती है, सिर्फ एक ही आइटम है, वो है फर्टिलाइजर्स। ठीक है, तो ये उन्हीं को पता होगा जिसको पता है कि गवर्नमेंट का ट्रेडिंग जो है बंद हो चुका है राइस में। So in that way, question was asked to know whether you know about it or not. So of course, it is now not practiced in India. गवर्नमेंट ट्रेडिंग हुआ करता था, अब नहीं होता है। एमएमटीसी एसटीसी अब राइस वेस में खरीद फरोख्त नहीं करती है, ना वो राइस खरीदती है किसी कंट्री से और ना ही राइस बेचती है किसी कंट्री को। ठीक है, वो बेचना खरीदना वो अब एक्सपोर्टर इंपोर्टर और जो बिजनेसमैन है उनके हाथ में है। अब सरकार इसमें इन्वॉल्व नहीं करती अपने आप को। तो इसलिए ये जो है प्राइस राइस वाला जो है प्राइस ऑफ राइस इन इंडिया, वो जो है रिसेंट पास्ट पूछा हुआ है, तो गवर्नमेंट ट्रेडिंग जो है बंद हो चुका है 1991 के बाद ही। ठीक है, ये इसलिए पूछा गया है क्योंकि इकोनॉमिक सर्वे में इसके बारे में चर्चा की हुई है, और जिन्होंने नहीं पढ़ा हुआ इकोनॉमिक सर्वे उन तो कह देंगे कि हाँ 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 सब सही है, सब सही है, चारों ले लो। ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है, इट्स नॉट एक्टेड देयर, राइट? सो 1, 3, 4 would be the answer. 2 is not correct here. Then you have 64 number question. It is in the context of the three statements in the export import between India and neighboring countries. So value of India Sri Lanka has increased in last decade. It's correct. Alright, Sri Lanka is the biggest trading partner of India now. In fact, textile and textile articles constitute an important item of trade between India and Bangladesh. So correct. So India और बांग्लादेश के बीच में टेक्सटाइल इंपोर्ट होता है। इंडिया से बांग्लादेश से बहुत सारा टेक्सटाइल इंडिया इंपोर्ट करती है अभी भी। ठीक है, तो सही है ये। In the last 5 years, Nepal has been largest trading partner. नहीं, अभी just मैंने कहा श्रीलंका. Sri Lanka is the largest trading partner of India in South Asia, so not Nepal. So third is incorrect. So 1 and 2 are correct. So A is the answer. ठीक है, तो ये होगा आपका आंसर A. Question number 65. देखिए, the 4 countries members of G20, of course, it is basically Argentina, Mexico, South Africa, and Turkey. So they are the first option itself is the 4 countries member of G20. So G20 मीटिंग हुआ था करंट अफेयर्स में, तो एक क्वेश्चन मान सकते हैं करंट अफेयर्स से पूछा गया है। G20 की मीटिंग हुई थी, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कौन कौन से उसमें 4 कंट्रीज जो है मेंबर्स है, जो डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज है जो उसमें G20 में भी आते हैं। इंडिया भी आता है लेकिन ये भी है। ठीक है, so Kisan credit card has been asked to you now. Kisan credit card, under this, what is to be done? So it only supports the working capital for the farmers, you can say assets. So first is working capital for maintenance farmers. It's correct. That's correct. All right. Purchase of combined harvesters, tractors, and mini trucks. Of course, this is not correct because it's a long-term investment. The long-term investment does not take place with Kisan credit card. Then you have consumption requirements of farm households. Of course, it is correct. So for consumption requirement, farm household, it is given there. Then you have post-harvest expenses. Of course, it is also correct. It is also given under the Kisan credit card. Then construction of family house, setting of village, cold storage, ये नहीं दिया था किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड, because ये सब लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट का पार्ट है। So लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट का पार्ट केसीसी नहीं करता है, तो ये आपको याद रखना है। तो 1, 3 and 4 would be the answer here. ठीक है। Then question number 67. Now 67 is again interesting one, that is weightage of food in consumer price index is higher than that in the wholesale price index. It is correct in fact. CPI में weightage of food ज़्यादा है, ठीक है, WPI से। WPI does not capture changes in the price of services which CPI does. It is also correct. CPI में ये difference है WPI CPI में। WPI सिर्फ goods को measure करता है, CPI दोनों को measure करता है, ठीक है। ये इन्फ्लेशन मेजर करने के लिए यूज किया जाता है। मैं इसके बारे में चर्चा करूंगा जब क्लास के अंदर आऊंगा उस पर। RBI has now adopted WPI its key measure of inflation. It's incorrect altogether. उर्जित पटेल कमेटी के अनुसार RBI को इनफैक्ट CPI बेस्ड इन्फ्लेशन मेजरमेंट करना है, और वो CPI बेस्ड ही आज होता है, तो WPI बेस्ड नहीं होता है। तो थर्ड तो ऐसे आए इनकरेक्ट है। सो 1 and 2 would be the answer here. ठीक है, 1 and 2 is the answer, correct answer. So this is a question on map. So of course you can see the map, but the answer is here 3 and 4 only. So Volga and Jameji are correct. So ये map पे है question, basically geography के part में. Then you have question number 69. In the case of cereals, MSP is unlimited in any state. So this is incorrect in fact. MSP का price आपको मैंने समझाया था कि MSP का price जो है वो of course decide होता है किसके द्वारा, state के द्वारा, और वो unlimited नहीं होता है, उसका लिमिट होता है कि इतना ही प्रोक्योरमेंट वो कर सकता है, FCI। ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं कि हजारों क्विंटल प्रोक्योर कर ले जाएगा वो घर अपने। दैट इज व्हाट एक्चुअली इज द पॉइंट। सो अनलिमिटेड नहीं होता है, सो इनकरेक्ट है। देन यू हैव इन केस ऑफ सेल्स पल्सेस MSP is fixed by any state, so it is not correct. I told you MSP is fixed by the central government only, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs only by head of the Prime Minister. अगर आपको याद होगा MSP के बारे में तो ये क्वेश्चन आप आसानी से सॉल्व कर लेंगे. तो यहाँ पे सेकंड भी इनकरेक्ट है, so neither 1 nor 2 होगा आंसर, that is D. Now question number 70, very interesting question. It is given there also in my book. Commercial paper is short-term unsecured promissory note. It's correct. It is short-term unsecured promissory note only, in fact. Then your certificate of deposit is long-term. No, it's not long-term. It's also short-term. Certificate of deposit also a part of call money market. ठीक है, तो call money market अभी पढ़ूंगा, आपको उसमें समझ में आएगा. तो ये भी short-term है, तो ये incorrect हो गया second वाला statement. Call money is a short-term finance used for interbank transactions. Just now मैंने आपको कहा कि of course it is a part of call money market. तो call money short-term finance के ही लिए होता है, तो ये सही है. तो 1 and 3 तो ऐसे सही हो गया. तो 1 and 3 जहाँ है ऑप्शन वो मार दीजिए, करेक्ट हो जाएगा. फिर भी चौथा ऑप्शन देख लेते हैं. Zero coupon bonds are the interest bearing short-term bonds. No, it is long-term bonds. Zero coupon bonds are always long-term bonds issued by commercial banks to corporations. That is correct. It's not a short-term bond. ठीक है, तो ये इनकरेक्ट होगा. चौथा से आपका हट जाएगा इसमें से. ठीक है. फिर question number 71 again from history. This question has been asked. So it is parivarjika. Of course, it means renunciation. In fact, that is correct. Shramana. Now, Shramana is basically a set of an you can say ideology or set of a practice which was very much followed in India in the 6th century BCE. So Buddhism and Jainism were the outcome of Shramana tradition only in India. Shramana simply means ascetics or asceticism. So Shraman means ascetics, and from this Shramana ideology only, Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivikas, they all emerged. All right. So Shramana were not priests; they were the ascetics. Fine. So second statement is incorrect in that way. Upasak, of course, they were called as lay follower of Buddhism. So Upasak and Upasikas. Okay. So male and female, Upasak and Upasikas of lay followers of Buddhism. So 1 and 3 are correct here. So B is the answer here. Okay. That's the correct in fact. Then you have, of course, this is another question of that is from environment. We'll discuss it again. That is again environment. This is also from environment. These all are from environment and ecology. In fact, they have substantial number of questions for environment and ecology. So discuss it in one go. Now you have the next question is on the agriculture. That is, of course, biochar in farming. That's another important and interesting question for all of you. Now, see, biochar is largely used in vertical farming these days, and this issue has been in news. In fact, for last couple of years, I would say. I remember vertical farming as a practice was, in fact, accepted or allowed in Delhi. When in Delhi, the construction of flyovers were increased, especially in 2016-17 onwards, then the vertical farming practice was also made as a compulsory provision in the construction of flyovers in Delhi. Now, there itself, this issue was covered in the newspaper. So, biochar, about the issue of biochar. What is biochar? Let us see this issue. Biochar can be used as a part of the growing medium in vertical farming. That's correct, in fact, because that is applied for, of course, planting the plants into that. Biochar is a part of the growing medium. It promotes the growth of nitrogen fixing microorganisms. That's also correct. Then when biochar is a part of the growing medium, it enables the growing medium to retain water for longer time. That's also correct. So idea is this, all the three are correct, in fact. All right. And that's what actually is being practiced also in Delhi, especially in Delhi. You can simply see this is now becoming compulsory in the construction of all the flyovers in Delhi. So 80, question number 80 is correct in that way. Then question number 82, that's also from history. Now see, Chaul, Ghatsala, or Ghantasala or Kadura. Now Chaul is very famous. I mean, Ghantasala and Kadura probably may not be known by many of you, but Chaul was famous right from the beginning. Chaul was a port even during Gupta period, and Chaul was equally a port even during the Marathas period. So Chaul remained as a major port even in the Marathas period, and from there only you can derive this particular answer. Because Ghantasala, Kadura, probably you may not be knowing about it, but Chaul is something which is famous, popular, if you have been thorough with the history of India. So chawl was there, and of course because of that only you can easily understand it is a ports handling foreign trade. So that's what actually the answer 82 का A होगा, ठीक है. Then question number 83, that is zero tillage in agriculture. Advantage of zero tillage in agriculture. See, sowing of wheat is possible without burning the residue of previous crop. That is zero tillage. Zero tillage simply means they don't have to again till the soil. So least tilling soil of practice will be done in agriculture. Without the need for nursery of rice saplings, direct planting of paddy seeds in the wet soil is possible. That's also correct. Carbon sequestration in the soil is possible. So carbon sequestration is equally also correct in zero tillage agriculture. That it is also known as environment friendly practice of agriculture. So 1, 2, 3 are the answer of zero tillage agriculture. Then you have national policy and biofuel. It's also a part of current affairs only. It was a news as well. Probably may have gone through. So of course here the options are very much confusing because you need to understand it is very closely given. In fact, the options it is given all the above 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 everything. In one of the options they have removed 4, 3. So 1, 6, 3 and 4 they have removed. Groundnut seeds and horse gram they have removed. So of course whether biofuels can be prepared from these two, so there is an answer that is not. So groundnut seeds and horse gram are not used for biofuels, and in the national policy of biofuels they have not been included. Fine, therefore answer is A, that is correct here. All right, this again in environment we'll discuss. Then this is again on agriculture. Let us discuss that at question number 86. Now question 86, black gram can be cultivated as both kharif and rabi crop. That is correct. So black gram जो काला चना होता है दोनों जगह दोनों रूप में इसको उगाया जाता है. Green gram alone accounts for nearly half of pulse production. See, there's no doubt about it that the green gram in the world that is produced in India, it is almost 70% of total production. 70% of total production of grams that takes place, that the green gram takes place in the world, it comes from India. Therefore, there's no doubt about it. The green gram is India is the largest producer of green gram in the world, and especially the states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, and also Rajasthan. They're leading states in India to produce green gram. So by that logic, of course, it accounts for almost half of the pulse production. There's no doubt about it. The last 3 decades, while the production of kharif pulses has increased, the production of rabi pulses has decreased. That is also correct. Only kharif pulses have increased because what we have seen the states like even Punjab, they have shifted more upon kharif pulses these days. All right, that is the point. In fact, fine. So here the answer is 1, 2, 3. In fact, so all the 3 are correct. Now this is another question 87, which can be seen in both geography and economy. All right. So it is more likely geography would be more appropriate for this particular question. So here you have to understand the temperature and the day's light and all those things. And which of the following crop is most appropriate? So cotton is the answer here. So cotton would be the most appropriate answer here. Now question number 89. That is a very typical question. 89 is one of the toughest question I would say as far as agriculture is concerned. Now why? Because it is typical in the context of understanding the practice of sugarcane farming in India, and hardly people understand it. So by that logic, I would say this is the toughest question as far as entire economy or agriculture economy of India is concerned. See, first and foremost, that a substantial saving in seed material is made when bud chip seedlings are raised in a nursery and transplanted in the main field. It is not done in sugarcane farming. All right. So when you go for the cultivation of sugarcane, and that too with the chip settling is nothing. It is basically cutting down the sugarcane in from between, and then you apply those sugar you can say cane as a plantation in the entire soil. That is what is called as bud chip settlings. जहाँ पे sugar cane attach होता है, देखा होगा आपने, वहाँ से कट किया जाता है, कट करके उसको डाला जाता है, तो उससे भी sugar grow हो जाता है. तो ये जो है ऐसा कुछ नहीं कि नर्सरी में होगा और फिर उसको ट्रांसफर किया जाएगा मेन फील्ड में. वो फार्मर्स खुद भी कर सकते हैं, और फार्मर्स ट्रेडिशनल फार्मिंग ऐसे ही करते हैं सुगरकेन फार्मिंग का. तो उस हिसाब से पहला ऑप्शन itself is incorrect. So when direct planting of seeds is done, the germination of percentage is better with single budded seeds are compared to seeds with many buds. That's correct. That's correct basically. ठीक है. तो होता क्या है कि जब आप काटते हैं उसको शुगर केन को और उसके सिंगल बडेड सेट्स को आप यूज करते हैं, तो उससे क्या होता है कि आपका प्रोडक्शन ज्यादा होता है, मल्टीपल बर्ड्स आपका हो जाए उसके अंदर, तो इसलिए सिंगल बडेड सेट्स ही यूज किया जाता है फार्मर्स के द्वारा शुगर फार्मिंग में. If bad weather conditions prevail when sets are directly planted, single-budded sets have better survival as compared to large sets. That's also correct. Single-budded set जो होता है उसके survival ज़्यादा होते हैं. तो आप एक का part जो है लगाएंगे तो उससे ज़्यादा आपको production का फायदा मिलेगा. That's also correct. So survivability is very high. Sugarcane can be cultivated using seedlings prepared from tissue culture. ये हो सकता है. Tissue culture मतलब आपको काट के और उसके क्या कहते हैं pruning करके you can also grow the sugarcane cultivation. So ये भी possible है. So tissue culture से भी होता है. So 2, 3, 4 would be the answer here. Then you have the eco-friendly practice of agriculture. So of course in that way all of them are eco-friendly practice. Crop diversification of course eco-friendly होता है. Legume intensification of course eco-friendly होता है. Tensiometer use, it is also eco-friendly. Why? Because water use inside the plant is also done through the use of a particular, you can say, machine. Not a machine, even you can say a glass machine where you can measure the exact amount of water that should be supplied to the root of the plant. That is called as tensiometer. Tensiometer use होता है, सही है. Vertical farming is of course eco-friendly होता है. तो ये सारा कुछ सही है in fact in that way. Fertigation. The fertigation is equally very interesting question over here. Now you can understand here the fertigation is done when you apply both fertilizer and irrigation together. So when you use fertilizer along with water, all right, and then you drop the water on the plant, that is called as fertigation. Fine. So in this particular practice, what you do, you try to use the fertilizer in a judicious manner, and fertilizer use gets also multiplied in terms of its effect. Because what it happens, it actually brings the water along with fertilizer in the root, and that's how plant grows further. That is the concept of fertigation, all right, in agriculture. So with this, of course, alkalinity of irrigation water is definitely stopped. That is the advantage of fertigation. So one is correct. Second, that is efficient application of rock phosphate and all other phosphatic fertilizers is possible. Now see, I mean, it is definitely possible, but the point is that the phosphatic fertilizer that we use in India, that is in the context of the muriate of potash. All right. So muriate of potash, we use the phosphatic fertilizer. So muriate of potash does not need water. That does not apply water on it. So by that logic, if you apply water on the muriate of potash, it actually loses its entire effectiveness. Therefore, if you apply water along with this fertilizer, probably you will not get the result. All right. So efficient application of rock phosphate perhaps will not be very much effective in fertigation. So that's why second option is incorrect in that way. Increased availability of nutrients to plants is possible. That is correct. Reduction in the leaching of chemical nutrients is also possible. That's also correct. So 1, 3, and 4 are most appropriate answer in question number 91. All right. Then this is another typical question that is from geography only, that is major minerals. So typical one because it is not easy to be understood by everyone. So of course answer is here 4 only because it is only sillimanite is a major mineral. Rest bentonite, chromite, canite are only minor minerals. All right. It is given there in the India yearbook. India book mein diya hua hai ye. Then you have the next question, that is question number, yes. Question number 94. With reference to chemical fertilizers in India, consider the following statements. At present, the retail price of chemical fertilizers is market driven and not administered by the government. So obviously what we have to understand, it is talking about the entire chemical fertilizers. Now, how many chemical fertilizers do we have? What are the types of chemical fertilizer do we have? So see, we have chemical fertilizer in the form of urea, that is also chemical fertilizer. We have a chemical fertilizer in the form of DAP, that is diammonium phosphate. We have also chemical fertilizer in the form of MOP, that is muriate of phosphate. All right. So of course we have these DAP, MOP, and urea are the chemical fertilizers. At present, the retail price of chemical fertilizers is market driven and not administered by the government. It is incorrect because urea is still is controlled by the government in terms of its price. So first statement is absolutely incorrect in that way. Fine. Ammonia, which is an input of urea, is produced from natural gas. It is correct. Sulfur, which is raw material for phosphoric and acid fertilizer, is byproduct of it is also correct. So 2 and 3 are correct. So answer is B over here. Okay. Siachen Glacier. So it was in news also due to the India-China conflict, and of course the region of Leh and Ladakh under the radar of India-China conflict. So Siachen Glacier is basically not east of Aksai Chin, नहीं होगा. तो अक्साई चीन के ईस्ट में चले जाएंगे तो पहुंच जाएंगे हम चाइना के अंदर, तो वो तो होगा नहीं. ईस्ट ऑफ ले ये भी नहीं होगा. ईस्ट ले तो ऑलरेडी जो है आपके ईस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ लद्दाख एरिया में है, तो इसके उसमें चले जाएंगे तो वो भी नहीं होगा. नॉर्थ ऑफ गिलगिट, गिलगिट जो है गिलगिट बाल्टिस्तान जो पीओके में है, तो वो भी नहीं होगा. तो ऑब्वियसली जैसे आप एलिमिनेट करेंगे तीनों ऑप्शन, तो बचेगा नॉर्थ ऑफ नुब्रा वैली, ये सही होगा. नुब्रा वैली के नॉर्थ में ही सियाचिन ग्लेशियर है. Question number 97, that is another question from history. So Bhilsa is a famous place in history. Of course, it is in Madhya Pradesh now. Dwar Samudra was a place under the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. All right. So Dwar Samudra was a place in the nearby river Ganga. Dwar Samudra Ganga के पास जो है जगह तुगलक मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक ने आइडेंटिफाई किया था एक अलग सिटी बनाने का भी. ठीक है. तो द्वार समुद्रा वाज दैट एरिया. इट वाज इन यूपी बेसिकली, सो महाराष्ट्र में नहीं है. तो ऑफ कोर्स सेकंड ऑप्शन इज इनकरेक्ट. Greenagar, that is Girnar. So Girnar is in Gujarat only. That's correct, in fact. So 1 correct, 3 correct. Thaneveswara, it was Thaneswara, which was the capital of the Harshvardhan Empire. So Harshvardhan Empire का capital था. In fact, they belonged to Thaneswar. Then they settled the capital to Kannauj. ठीक है. So Thaneswar was in Haryana, not in Uttar Pradesh. So Thaneswara was not in Uttar Pradesh. So 4 is also incorrect. So answer here is only 1 and 3. So A is the correct answer here. Okay, that is the point. Then you have the next question that is on environment only. Then it is on geography, and last one is also on environment. So this is how we have seen almost all the areas of polity, economy, and also history part. Let us see now environment. We have also seen briefly geography. Let us see now environment and geography and science and tech also. See, the question number 100 is basically in the context of tiger reserve, that is critical tiger habitat. Now it was in news. So this question can be seen from the current affairs perspective. It was a news that is Nagarjuna Sagar Sri Salem Tiger Reserve has been declared as the critical tiger habitat in India. That is the answer over this particular question. Okay. Then question number 99 about jet streams occur in northern hemisphere. Now see, the correct answer is that jet streams can also occur in the southern hemisphere. So obviously the first option is not at all fully correct. Then only some cyclones develop an eye. That is actually correct. All right. So 2 is the only correct option. Temperature inside the eye of a cyclone is nearly 10 degrees lesser than that surroundings. Of course, it is also not correct. So in that way, the only correct option here is 2. 2 only is the correct answer. Question number 98. That is 36% of India's districts are classified as overexploited or critical by the CGWA. Now this is not correct. So 1 is not correct. CGWA was formed under the Environment Protection Act. Of course, it is correct. In 1982, CGWA was constituted. It is given also there in India book. There is a chapter of India in India book, that is chapter name water. वहाँ ये दिया हुआ है. ठीक है, तो आप सोर्स में बता रहा हूँ कहाँ से ये पूछा गया है. India has the largest area under groundwater irrigation in the world. That is also correct. So 2 and 3 are correct. So answer is B here. ठीक है, तो B इसका सही आंसर होगा. Now, India's desert national park, which of the following statements are correct? So it's spread over 2 districts. It is correct in that way. There's no human habitation inside the park, so it is not correct. Fine. Then it is one of the natural habitats of Great Indian Bustard. That is also correct. All right. So in that way, answer is C here. So C is correct here. Then you have ocean mean temperature, OMT. Which of the following statements are correct? So OMT is measured up to the depth of 26 degrees centigrade in the Indian Ocean. So both of the statements are correct, in fact. So both 1 and 2 are correct here. Okay. So it is in geography. That is purely geography. Question was asked in that way. Then We have already discussed about these all questions. So question number 88. The question number 88 is, it is in the context of solar power. So in the solar power issue, there is slight confusion, because in some of the answers you can see, of course, it talks about that solar power can be used for running surface pumps and not for submersible pumps. So obviously, it is correct in that way, because of course it cannot be used for submersible pumps also. All right. Solar power can be used for running centrifugal pumps and not the ones with piston. That is also correct. So in that way, in some of the answers, both 1 and 2 are correct. But the idea is that the solar power, when it can be used for running surface pumps, why can't it be used for submersible pumps? Because anyhow, in the submersible pumps also you have to supply electricity. Fine. And once you supply electricity, so anyhow it will work with whether it is on the land or inside the land. So anyhow it is going to work in that way. So first option is also not correct in that way. Fine. So probably the most likely the answer is B here. Okay.